Hi, guys, and welcome to the Jamie interview. I am amazed that we have Jamie to my left or right, depending on which way this flips when it records. But I want to thank him so much for being here, giving me any of his time just to ask him a few questions to show to you guys. So, for those who don't know, how did Sorted start?
Uh, it
First, I
started.
did explain what Sorted is. I should have explained that. Um, Sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
I'm
go for
new
it.
to this and really confused. So, Sorted Food is a cooking YouTube channel. It's great. They have nearly 2.5 million subscribers on YouTube. If you haven't, go and check them out. They're amazing. You've got Jamie, you've got Barry, you've got Mike, you've got Ben, you've got all the other people behind the scenes that run this amazing YouTube channel. There's a meal packs app, there's books, there's everything. So, sorry, Jamie. So, how did Sorted start?
So I've known the guys that you just mentioned. I've known since we were 11 years old, which is a really long, scary amount of time. And we all went to school together. And Sorted started when we left school. We all went off to university, studying different things at different places around the country, and essentially started chatting about how rubbish our diets were and that we were eating just microwave meals, and it was starting after a few months to take its toll, and we weren't feeling too great. Um, Ben was training to be a chef. He had never realized that people had left school without learning how to cook. Um, and so he started to write down a few recipes and tips and tricks for us, literally on the back of a beer mat, sat in a pub when we met up over like Christmas holidays. And we just ran with it and we started using the recipes and we really enjoyed them. At some point, it felt like a good idea to film ourselves making some of the recipes and put them onto YouTube. And it started to get more people watching the videos and just our friends and our mums. And we started to get comments from other people saying, could you show us how to make spaghetti and meatballs? Could you show us how to make a lasagna? And so that became the idea for our next video. And yeah, that was back in 2009, 2010. And we've just run with it ever since.
I mean, that's a pretty amazing story if you look from just sat in a pub, Ben giving you some recipes to now doing what you're doing. When that started, did you ever think that this could be something that starts a job or a career or anything like that? Or was it just let's see and run with it?
I think when we started it, it was before anyone was doing this as a job. No one was running a YouTube channel or a social media sort of thing as a job. There was no money in it at all back then. So this was just really good fun. As it started to get a bit more serious and we started to pick up viewers and we were sort of spending a lot of evenings and weekends working on it, um, we realized that actually this could look really good on our CVs that go and help us get a job. We've taken some initiative and we've worked on a project together, and we're making some impact. This is going to look great on our CVs, and yeah, never expected it to actually turn into the jobs or the careers that it has done.
I think a lot of the stuff why a lot of us watch is you can tell you're actually friends and you've been friends for years and years and years. It's not just an act or it's not just anything. It's when you're doing the videos, you're having a good time and you're enjoying what you're doing, and you're genuinely laughing and things like that. And I'm going to come on to some of the series you guys have done and everything like that in a little bit. So in was it about 6 years ago, or was it 4 years ago? I couldn't find the actual official date. You started the Sorted Club that came from the newsletter, and then you started the Sorted Club. So when that was first started, just take me through the process of sort of seeing that you could do something with it, and then obviously everyone had ideas, but actually launching it into something that now has evolved again into something better and keeps evolving, keeps improving.
So yeah, I mean, it started with the idea of a book club, and that came because people were asking us to write a cookbook. And to be completely honest, we probably had two choices. We could either take this idea that we had for a cookbook, which was the most indulgent desserts you can ever imagine, and we're like, right, we can either take that to a publisher, and it's going to take 12 to 18 months to write that book, get it published, get it onto shelves, and people can go out and buy it. Or if we could do it by ourselves, then could we do it quicker? And could we actually do it in such a way that we get people's interest first of all? And that's how it started with a Kickstarter. We're like, right, people keep saying they want us to write a cookbook. We've got this idea. Would you buy it? And it sold out within 48 hours. Which was amazing. I'm like, okay, we've got to write a cookbook now. And then I'm like, well, actually, could we take that further and turn this into something else that people would want to be a part of on a monthly basis? And what else could we do? And so that's sort of what gave the inspiration for the cookbooks that came after that. And then also for the Eat app, which came out to help people find really great local restaurants in major cities around the world. And then also the Meal Packs app, to help people with their sort of midweek cooking, help people save money, reduce their food waste, and still create delicious, exciting meals. So at each stage, it was like, okay, how can we help people improve their lives around food? And it was easy in a way because we had this incredible community of people who had so many ideas for things that we could do, and we just built it with them over the last three or so years.
So I think again, one of the first video I stumbled across was the fish and chips, the traveling to 3 places and the whole road trip and the whole fiasco with the boat and all that stuff. And I remember watching that and thinking, I was 12, 13 at the time, and thinking, just started getting into YouTube, and I was like, right, okay, I like these guys, I might keep watching. Here we are 3 years later, and every Sunday and Wednesday it's it's a video out, it's a video out, it's out now.
Oh,
watch it. Like yesterday's video, which I'll get onto, which I think is my favorite video of all time.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So going back to the Sorted Club, when it was first started, there was mention of starting a pub. Is that something that in the future could happen, or is that something that you looked into and maybe thought wasn't possible to happen?
I think along the sorry, let me just close the door quickly. Hang on a second. Right. Sorry.
All right.
I think along with the Eat app, which was based around helping people find great restaurants in cities around the world, everything kind of took a sort of a bit of a turn with the start of COVID. It became a lot more difficult to try and do, and we've looked at the kind of the pub idea on and off probably for the last 10 years. We'd love to have a physical space where we could host people, but the practicalities of it are really tough. I think the idea of it is brilliant, and then as soon as you ask any of us, so do you want to run a restaurant, do you want to run a pub? Oh, not particularly. I just really want that feeling. I want
to sit in the pub and enjoy the stuff around it. I don't want to run it.
Yeah, exactly. It's two very different things. So at the moment, it's not on the cards. But you know what? Never say never.
No. I think that would be something, going back to the Reddit page, which I honestly found about a month ago, and the conversations we all have about everything, and about how I thought it was started by you guys and how all that, and then I suddenly found out, hang on a minute, this is started by the community and how that's grown, and how I've never seen anyone be negative ever about anything. And I think it's just the community that's built. It always is like, right, I'm not having a great day, I'll go on there and see what people talk about and join in and things like that. And with this, I've kept them updated with it on there, and they've helped me with questions and things like that. So I'm going to go on a bit further forward to sort of current day and that in between time. So with the starting of Pass It On, whose idea was it, and when did it occur to you that this could work? And obviously the first couple didn't.
I think it was a Barry and Mike idea. I think Barry might have had this idea in his head, and yeah, I think him and Mike worked it out. And then whatever happened in that first episode, I'm not 100% sure we were all briefed properly on what we were supposed to do.
Oh.
And we filmed that first one, got to the end, and like I tried making some Juicy Lucy burgers, and there was something else going on over here, and it was a complete and utter disaster. And this has only happened on like 2 or 3 occasions over the last 10 years where we've actually got to the end of filming a video, got to the end of editing the video and it ready to go out, and going, I don't know if we can launch that. It's so bad. I'm not sure it's going to do us any favors by launching it. And on both occasions, we've been proved completely wrong, because I think the first time that happened was with kitchen gadgets, the very first reviewing kitchen gadgets video.
That's your number 1 most viewed video, isn't it, that one?
Number 1 most viewed video, and we almost didn't put it out because we didn't like it.
It has the vibe of, it's like late at night on a Friday. We want to mess about. Let's film something.
Exactly it.
And then it actually turned out to be so funny. It almost seemed like it had been written by a comedian in the way it was, but it turns out it was just you guys just being yourself, messing about, and then suddenly 2 million people have watched it.
Yeah. So yeah, the Pass It On, that very first Pass It On episode followed the exact same structure. We finished filming it and went, well, that was terrible. We've just wasted an hour. Put it into the edit, get it back, watch it back, and go, I mean, it's really funny, but it's really terrible. And I think that's why we called it like something. It was something like our biggest fail ever, or something like that. But I suppose it kind of drove us to think, right, let's get better. We can do better than that. I don't know whether we've proved ourselves right or wrong over the last couple of years.
Some have been brilliant. Some have been, let's just say, I think Janice needs to give you a bit more leniency on everything.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
So I'm going to move on to some more sort of personal things about this and about your favourite moments and things like that. So as I mentioned to Poppy in the last interview you would have seen, or it might have been at the start, I don't know how I'm going to order these yet because I didn't expect any of this to happen. She sent me a challenge to cook the 18-hour potato, but it's now the 15-hour potato because there's a new one, which is very helpful for me because that will be very interesting. What's your favourite sorted recipe of all time?
Oh. Of all time? It's a really, really hard one.
Probably should have briefed you about this before, shouldn't I?
No, it's good. Do you know what? I think the one that surprised me the most that I made in one of our battles, I made in our chicken battle a few years ago, was the salt baked chicken, because I had no idea how that was going to turn out. And it's still the best tasting chicken I have ever had. And it tasted more chickeny than any other chicken you can imagine. And it's a ridiculous process to go through to make it as well. So yeah, let's go with the salt baked chicken.
My lead on question was that going to be, right, I'm going to cook that, but I don't think that's practical in our kitchen. So is there other recipe you like that maybe I should cook on the stream, well, before the stream, but show on the stream, that would be a nice challenge for me to do?
How about... Oh, I'm trying to think now. Oh, I've gone completely blank.
It's all right. I'll come back to it at the end because I got some little more other questions now. So with Sorted, obviously, we know your friends on and off camera. So on and off camera, what is your favourite Sorted moments? And have they changed since they made personal 3 years ago? Or are they still similar or anything like that?
think my favorite moments are when we've been traveling and, you know, doing the Game Changer series in the US, like some of the experiences that we've had, and Lost and Hungry before that as well. Some of the experiences we've had have been absolutely unreal. And we've like stumbled upon them. And most of them have been those community recommended things that you just never would have imagined turning out. And that whole the Lost and Hungry rules of following community recommendations, saying yes, and then passing it on. Like we've just had these most amazing experiences, and we've experienced them together. And usually they're at the end of, you know, a really long, hot, sweaty day, and you're absolutely starving, and then you just stumble upon. There was one in where were we? So, Kansas City, a few years ago, and Mike and I had been to judge this barbecue competition, and it was so hot. It was so hot. We'd been standing like, and we kind of got to go and meet Ben and Baz
It would
at
just
this
run a
restaurant.
5K if I remember correctly, right?
Sorry?
They just ran a 5K if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And we kind of got to this restaurant, and Mike and I were just drained. We were just completely like finished. And Baz came out of this restaurant bouncing, and he was so happy and so excited. And he's like, "You're going to love this place. It's brilliant." And we walked in, and this restaurant had the best feeling. It was like 3:00 on a Sunday afternoon. There's live music. There's incredible barbecue food. There's drinks flowing. There's people dancing and happy. And it filled us again with energy. Like we didn't eat anything. We didn't drink anything at that point. We were just, the energy of the room like got to us. So many sort of stories like that. It's amazing.
So obviously this year we saw James move on to go and work in a kitchen. Obviously that was sad for all of us. I couldn't imagine how that felt for you guys. But obviously also for us, we were sort of happy but sad that James had left and moved on, because we could sort of see how at the start he clearly didn't want to be on camera. And then he embraced it and then became with all of you guys like that. And it was just amazing. So with that, and obviously you finding news, I imagine months before we did in planning that, did you, when that sort of happened, did any of you sort of think in 5-10 years when maybe YouTube has changed or something like that, and maybe you want to move on to a different thing, is there sort of a thing in your mind which says, if when Sorted unfortunately comes to an end, I would maybe like to move on and do this or do that?
I don't know. It's a weird one. I mean, we've like I said right at the beginning, because we never expected this to turn into anything. I think we just feel incredibly lucky every single day that we're able to get up and do this, which is amazing. And you know, we get together every year and like, right at the end of each year, are we all up for next year? Are we cracking on? And we've always sort of, I suppose, like, is there a reason to stop? And it gets to the end of each year, and there's so many reasons to carry on going. So much more has happened. There's so many exciting opportunities, so many places to go with it, and it's different every single day and every single year. Yeah, I've got no idea how long it could last for, but we just gotta ride it. And it's been an incredible journey so far. And then like seeing things like the Meal Packs app take an incredible stride in the last year, which we never would have predicted. And that's now doing incredible things for people around the world. Like, great, how can we help more people live better lives through food? And how can we do that with the YouTube channel? How can we do that with the apps like Meal Packs? How can we do that with cookbooks? What else can we do to help people? Yeah, it's not slowing down yet, which is amazing.
No, it is definitely not slowing down, and we can see that you guys have so many ideas that we can only imagine on what the next series or challenges or whatever is going to be, because I'm going to be on to more of the themes of the years and how I know we've been going for a little bit, so I'll try and condense a little bit. So obviously we've already sort of talked about Pass It On and how that started, and then the Ultimate Battles, that was before that, and that was sort of that was all sorted. They're the people that do the battles, and three normals, and Ben we didn't judge them at the time, did he? It was down to comments and things. And then obviously that's adapted to now chef versus normals and beat the chefs and everything like that. How does that for you? Can you see a change in the way maybe you go about these videos now because of the amount you've done? And I think, trying to do my research last night, I think you've won the most by about 5 or 6. I think it is quite close between you and Mike, and Barry is quite far down. But yeah, I mean,
I think for us, we've always felt like our difference compared to TV chefs or other cooking shows and things like that is you do not have one chef standing there telling you how to do something. You've always had one of us standing next to them going, yeah, but why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? How do I do that bit? And we're trying to break down and get all of this knowledge that chefs have in their brains and try and turn it into really useful information for normal home cooks. And I think the battles really help to drive that forward and go, actually, no, just because I don't have the title of a chef doesn't mean that I can't cook. It doesn't mean I can't push myself. And how can we get better? And actually, having a competition with one of your mates or a couple of your mates to see who's best at cooking a burger or who's best at cooking a seafood dish. Great. Who gets the chance to do that? Let's do that and really push ourselves and see how far we can go. And then obviously, having the backing of the chefs and the food team behind us to turn our ridiculous ideas into reality is amazing. It wouldn't be possible without them. It wouldn't be possible to do it to that level without them. And I think, the fact that you can put yourself up against a chef and go, right, I'm going to try and do this. And it doesn't always work. And will never be chefs, and that's okay. But I think it's the whole thing, like if we can take that knowledge from the chefs or from our food team and turn that into something that you at home could use to make your cooking better, then I feel like we've done our job. And whether that information comes from us or from the chefs, and if you get it whilst it's in the middle of a ridiculous battle where we're dressed up as whatever, Cruella de Vil or something like that, then surely that's all good.
So up until a few months ago, I wanted to go into the food industry as a chef or something like that. So I I did food tech at school, but I also sort of could learn techniques and things, and we'd be sat down at dinner table, and people would be like, how do you know that? And I'm like, sorted. Like about the sous vides and all that. And I think a lot of people do use it as that as well, because of the knowledge of you guys. Obviously this year we're exploring how normal you are or how close to a chef you are.
Yeah.
Obviously that's been done through the chef challenge things, which I'll come on to in a minute. But sort of, was that, knowing that now, does that sort of impact the videos you make, in the fact that people are gonna take stuff and try and mention certain tips and skills in the actual videos, as well as the meal packs apps and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. We always want the videos to be that really nice mixture between being entertaining, being educational and being able to learn something, and also being aspirational. Like, we get the chance to play with ingredients and foods and dishes that we wouldn't get to do in our normal daily lives, and that's really cool and exciting. And if we can kind of try and get that balance, maybe not in every single video, but across a set of videos in a week or in a month, then it feels like that's only a good thing.
So I know I've kept you for a bit longer, but I'm going to try and wrap it up within the next 5-10 minutes, and
That's all right.
I'm going to ask you a couple more questions, and then I'll move on to questions from the community. So I've got my question then. From moving on from that now, with the chef skills challenges and the poker face challenges, which have sort of been introduced this year, obviously two completely different things. With the skills badges, from seeing it, it actually seems like, but you're so competitive, you, Mike, and Barry, that you all want to win it, and especially when Ben's there, smug grin on his face, thinking, you don't know what Duker is.
Yeah.
We're not having that badge anymore. I think it for you, how does it feel now that you obviously want to win? And at the moment, as of recording this, I think you're in the lead. I don't know what you know, and obviously it's coming out in a few weeks. But how much do you want to win, and how much does these challenges affect sorted going forward, in the way of, at the end, are we going to go a little surprise and go to a few years ago, food heaven, food hell for the loser and the winner? That was something that was discussed on Reddit the other week, how great that would be. Or is it just going to be the winner maybe gets a little badge or anything?
I don't know how it finishes. We've had lots of conversations about what the winner gets, and do they take a step up from being a normal to being, semi chef, and how do we visualize that? But yeah, no decisions have been made on that. But yeah, we are all pathetically competitive. Like, we are so we didn't think we would be. We had the conversation at the beginning of the year whilst we were planning this. We're like, right, if we're going to do this, we have to really want to improve, and we really do have to do it. And we all kind of went, yeah, sounds good. And then we got to like the first couple of challenges and the first few videos, and we all realized that actually I really want to win this, because if I can't beat my mates, who can I beat? And yeah, we're probably too competitive for it would probably be better if one of us decided to muck up in each video. It might make a more entertaining video, but we're all so competitive that none of us would do it. It's I have to win.
Intentionally anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I have to win, and it's gutting.
So obviously, as sorted fans, as the books, the meal packs app, and one thing I've sort of seen mentioned a few times and wondered myself is there any possibility of sort of a merchandise line like t-shirts or anything like that? Because I think a lot of people, if that was to be an option, would get some, because currently I'm not part of the meal packs or anything like that, or the club, and it's something I've sort of looked at and thought maybe start of next year, maybe it's something we look into or anything. But do you think there'll be a possibility of merchandise or anything like that?
We talked about lots of things over the years. We did do some t-shirts once upon a time, like Team Ebbers and Team Curry t-shirts and that sort of thing, or Lost and Hungry t-shirts. And I think the conclusion that we've come to over time is that if we're going to put something out for people to buy, I kind of want it to be useful and not sort of just like merch type thing, but actually be something that people can get use out of and be related to food. So there's a few conversations going on about what could come out before the end of the year. Keep an eye out, because there's hopefully some stuff coming up.
That's good. And also one thing I've got to mention earlier, and then we're going to move on to questions from people, and then I'll let you go. Sorry I've kept you a bit longer.
No, it's good.
I've really enjoyed this chat, and I think it's been, thank you for giving me your time. So obviously one of the most infamous sorted moments is the Sia parody. Obviously, I think from what we can gather on the side, Mike is quite a musical person. And I think, what was your reaction when he told you, "Hi Jay, we're going to do this week"? And obviously, with all of you getting involved, and James's role, when at that point we didn't really know James that well, and now you're doing a silly dance. And did she see that in the end, or was that?
She never replied, so I don't know whether she saw it. Not sure.
That's the problem I'm having at the moment, reaching out to people. I'm like, have they seen it and just not involved, or are they not
Yeah,
interested.
if I had to guess, she's seen it, was horrified, and then blocked us so we couldn't get in touch with her. That's what I imagine happened. But that's the perfect example of the type of video that you could only film with your mates.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't turn up to a job and someone say to you, right, come on, put that wig on, get the leotard on. Yeah, it's horrifying. And you have to put so much trust in Mike and the production team that yes, you're doing something stupid and you're doing something completely ridiculous, but you're not going to look super terrible out the back of it. And I don't know. I don't know. With that one, that was the line. That one. Yeah, that was a line. But this is why it has to work, and why we won't be able to get other jobs, and why we're all amazed that James was able to go and get a real job. Is because he could do something like that, and that's on the internet. That's there forever, and he was still able to get a real job. So maybe there's life after Sorted for the rest of us. But with all of that evidence, I'm not sure that that's the case.
So I won't keep you too much longer. I've just got a couple of questions. I've got a few on my phone that I'm just gonna ask you here. So, what is something about each of the guys that would surprise us to learn? And that's from Reddit user Bond Fool.
I don't know if it would surprise people, but what you see on camera is us. What you see in the videos is exactly the same as we are not on the videos. We're part of a bigger friendship group still from our schoolmates, and we had a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and we got a stag doing a wedding coming up in a couple of weeks' time as part of that school friendship group. And yeah, everyone's exactly the same as you would expect them to be. And I don't know if that's a surprise or not, but we're terrible actors. So whatever you see on camera is just us. We are that bad in real life.
So another question from Booping Burrito. If you could choose one celebrity chef to work with, who would it be?
I think it would be really, really funny to have a battle judged by a notoriously angry chef like Gordon Ramsay. I just think that would be.
You've acted as Gordon Ramsay a few years ago.
Yeah, I think that would. I think that would be good. But otherwise, I think there are so many incredible people out there at the moment doing amazing things around food. We've started to bring those guest chefs in the last couple of months, and we've learned so much. Like having Curran come in on Friday's video to teach us about curry.
So
we learned so much, and it's amazing. And so I think opening ourselves up to the London restaurant and food scene, and then expanding that out across the UK. We've got Poppy coming in on a couple of videos in a few weeks' time.
Is that going to be out by the time this is out on the 21st?
Yes, possibly. Yeah.
If you haven't, go and check that out now. I'll probably be putting the link to all the socials and stuff, if I'm not asleep, in the description. This is a conversation I had with Poppy as well, because I think part of the plan is I'm going to show a couple of these sort of early morning for me to have a bit of a rest off camera, and at this point I might still be asleep, so wake up if you're not awake yet. But another question is, with the poker face challenges, who came up with the idea, and how does it stay a secret from you what the stuff is?
So I think that idea is probably from Josie in our production team. She's our sort of head of production, and she's evil, essentially. And she works with the food team, and so she'll work with the food team to come up with the concept. And if it's Ben, with that one, Ben delivered he had all of the knowledge, so he worked with them to do the research, work out what the dishes should be, and he knew everything about it. In the one before that, where I had won, and then I was on the side. I worked with Josie and the food team, so it's kept separate from the four of us unless we need to be involved. And the same thing happens with reviewing kitchen gadgets or pretentious ingredients or pick the premium. Whoever's not involved in sort of like in the tasting part or the testing part will be involved ahead of time, so they kind of know what's going on.
What do you prefer in them videos? Do you prefer to be, obviously not the poker face ones, we all know you guys would rather be on the presenting side with pretentious ingredients and with kitchen gadgets and with pick the premiums? Would you rather be in the video or presenting the video?
I mean, if I'm in the video, I'm probably eating, so probably in the video. Yeah.
Fair enough. So, one last question to ask you, and then sorry for keeping you a bit longer. And if you don't know the answer to this question, just say no, that's fine, because the whole point of this event is to raise awareness for it. Do you know what psoriasis is?
I don't know much about it at all. I really don't.
Thank you for being honest with that.
No.
So the reason why I'm doing this event, because hopefully some people would have tuned in to watch this, fingers crossed, is I have psoriasis. My mum has psoriasis. Some other people in my family have psoriasis. It's a skin condition. It's the stuff like here, and that is the best way I can describe it. Is like having cracked skin. I've got it mildly at the moment, only on my head, but I'm getting like creams and stuff. But it depends on what happens with it, and it can. After this, I think my mum's going to pop on and answer some questions. If you've got any questions or want just anything, just stick around and hopefully she'll be in a couple of minutes to answer some of the questions as well as me. So I want to thank you for being here and giving me some of your time to speak to you today. It means so much. I've been a fan of you guys for 3.5 years now, and when I initially started a list, you guys were sort of top of the list of I'd really like to speak to someone from Sorted, and then obviously that happened. A conversation happened last week, and here we are here on Monday morning talking about it.
No worries at all. As you know, psoriasis. As I say, I don't know much about it at all. I know that my sister-in-law, my father-in-law have suffered from it, and continue to have ongoing problems with it. But it sounds to me like you're doing an amazing job of raising awareness and trying to get help to people that need it. So yeah, congratulations to you and well done. And more than happy to be involved.
Thank you. I'll pass back on to me. I'm just gonna pause this so we can